And, it's common sense to me that we are not alone, that we are likely to have neighbors that may have existed before us. Because there are hundreds of billions of stars, like the sun, in the Milky Way galaxy alone, and a substantial fraction of them may have a planet the size of the Earth, roughly the same separation. So it's really arrogant to suggest that we are unique and special. And, one day I was at home and my wife called me and said, there is someone on the street looking at our home. Maybe it's one of your fans. You should check what this person wants. And I went there and I said, you've been staring at our home for an hour. Why? And he said, because I was born at this house 50 years ago. And I said, would you like to have a look at the backyard? And he said, sure. Actually, there was a cat that we buried in the backyard called Tiger. And I said, yeah, the name sounds familiar because I saw the tombstone with Tiger written all over it. But I was hoping it's not a real tiger, that it has at any event, we went there and he explained it to me. Now, what did that lesson teach me? That, you should welcome visitors, especially if they come from interstellar space. When you meet with another person, let's say on a blind date, you can pretty much assume that the other person looks just like you because you share the same DNA. That is a human and you are a human. However, if you meet something from another star, all bets are off. And just as with the meeting with this stranger that looked at our home, maybe the interstellar visitor was around longer than we did, knows about things that happen in our backyard that we don't even realize. And so it's always to our benefit to learn from our neighbors. And, just ignoring the possibility that we have neighbors, arguing that it's an extraordinary claim without seeking the evidence for it, is really not intelligent. Only when we will become intelligent enough to allow ourselves to search for the neighbors, we might find them and we might be admitted to the club of intelligent civilizations in the Milky Way galaxy. So far, we are just looking down, not looking up, and focusing on conflicts. Mm-hmm. And that is not a sign of intelligence.
Very true, very true. When you think of extraterrestrial life, especially when it comes to if there are more advanced organisms mm-hmm. in the somewhere in the universe, what do you imagine? I mean, we had talked about looking for lights on other planets and water and you brought up the stuff on the moon. Was it Saturn?
Titan, the moon of Saturn. Yeah, Titan that has lakes and oceans of methane and ethane. Yeah.
I mean, do you imagine they have the same senses?
No.
Communicate similar?
Not necessarily. I don't want to imagine anything because our imagination is limited to our experience on Earth. And all bets are off when you deal with someone from another star or another environment that is very different than ours. So I prefer to go to this blind date with my eyes open, not to assume anything. And, that's how I met my wife on a blind date. So who knows?